This time on Data Drive, Jeff and I are going to be challenging stereotypes and busting myths.
Now, it promises to be as enlightening as it is entertaining.
Yeah, but you better bring some evidence to support your theories.
Oh, of course, I will. I always do.
We'll also learn which countries in the world are the most tech-savvy and why, using facts. Jump in for the drive.
This is Data Drive. Starring Jeff Weston and Robbie Ferguson.
At Data Drive, we only trust our dashcam footage to Kingston Canvas Go Plus microSD cards. They're fast and reliable, even in the harsh seasons faced by us Canadian drivers.
Do you have a device that could use a Kingston upgrade? Your dash cam, action cam, smart home surveillance device, drone, Raspberry Pi, smartphone, or even your Nintendo Switch gaming console?
Upgrade today with Kingston Canvas Go Plus microSD cards.
Data Drive is brought to you by Ameridroid.com. From Singapore computers to home automation and accessories, Ameridroid.com offers top-notch products, worldwide shipping, and unbeatable US-based service. Explore endless possibilities with Ameridroid.com.
And Voyager Systems, your responsive IT partner for managed technology, cybersecurity, and future-proof solutions. Let them deal with the technical headaches so you can focus on what matters, running your business. Blast off to success with Voyager Systems, where every journey elevates your business to new heights. VoyagerSystems.cloud.
I have noted in general, and this is a broad stroke of the brush, there seems to be two major groups of people. There is the youth looking for something free, and the novice tech user that thinks they can do advanced.
Mm-hmm. You think that narrows it down?
Well, so those are kind of the two categories, but typically novice user, I would say, is somebody who, let's call them, not as young as, Gen Z.
They realize they need a hobby in their retirement? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. But those in kind of the middle group, for the most part, those are where I see the comments of, I've tried this, I don't understand this.
Right.
And they've missed
it's actually useful information. It's like, okay, well,
right.
That's where I say, okay, where'd you get stumped?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes I'll say this. Here's the documentation. At which point in the documentation did you get stuck?
Right.
Like on that bullet list of 3 things that you need to try. Because oftentimes they'll be like, oh, I didn't even realize that there was that documentation.
Sure. And it happens. I've done it too.
Yeah.
Where it's like you read something and you happen to miss that one thing. But like, I think we did that episode on chat's not working in Minecraft. And, I happened to figure out what it was. And, we post the video and we're like,
How many people are like, it doesn't work?
Well, exactly. And they're like, I followed your video and I don't have access to that.
And I'm like, oh, well, thanks for the view.
Well, yeah. But I noticed a number of comments where, like, I want to respond and be like, have you talked to your parents about enabling permissions?
Yeah.
And there are those comments.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Well, you're not the parent, so you can't go in and change the family controls.
Right. It's just like, the answer to this problem is glaring and obvious.
Yeah, true.
But you missed it because you're, a 13-year-old trying to get chat working on Minecraft. Mm-hmm. The average, 36-year-old is not sitting there at home going, I want to play Minecraft after school. Like, just doesn't quite fit the demographic. But I have noticed that when I read stuff online, there seems to be those two age
and that's why you've
groups,
got to be careful when you're reading reviews too, because what's the context? Because somebody will see those comments on that video and they'll think, oh, this doesn't work.
Right. But it's...
Well, yes, it does.
Yeah. So, you have to, and by all means, my comment is not an ageism thing.
Oh, no, I understand, for sure.
But but it's not
It's context of who it is that's commenting.
correct.
But the person, that person, before they start typing their comment, should make the connection that, okay, well, as the in that particular instance, that example, they're the child, so they don't have access to change the parental controls.
Exactly. You know, but then I also start thinking about the geographical location. And this you might go, oh, Jeff, I'm not sure I agree with this. And maybe it's, you know, not bias, but like saturation effect. But when I read stuff online where there seems to be comments about something not working, largely it feels like it is North American commenters.
What are you even talking about? I don't know where you're going with this, because
You've never noticed this. So I will go.
But I don't use the Chinese internet. Like, so how would I be able to gauge that?
No, if
we use the internet that is like North America and the UK, essentially.
Okay, but to that point, there are some services that I've used where it's an international service. Like you can get it around the world, and you'll read forums and you know, all this kind of stuff. And I you know, somebody's like, you know, oh, I use this and this, you know, I'm from Wisconsin, you know, whatever. Yeah. And this is my thing, and I'm reading it. But I seem to find, and sometimes you can, you know, make inferences from just things that are stated within the comments. But I've found in general that the technical knowledge seems to be a little bit more astute with the average user in a European context. Even with Cat 5, I've noticed some of our, you know, really, you know, quite brilliant. And that's not to say our North American users are not brilliant, but
still don't know where you're going.
You've not noticed this?
I don't put a border on.
It's not a border. It's
or even like, so you're saying that most of YouTube comments come from North America. Well, it's kind of a North American service.
Okay, so
I say,
that
like
in
the
context.
UK
Yes.
and Europe,
and I do take that in context. But just in general, I find there seems to be a higher level of tech knowledge in European nations, and I don't know why. And that's, again, a broad stroke of the brush. I don't know. It's just I've noticed.
I don't
this.
know that I can agree with that at all.
No.
I think, well, I mean, there's certainly nations like Japan is so friggin' advanced. It's like,
oh, absolutely,
so cool. But I don't think that's I think that's just like where have we put our focus as far as like our technological advances. But I don't. It's not like. I mean, opportunity changes things.
Absolutely,
for sure.
I think so. I think what it comes down to, North American culture, very disposal focused. Everything doesn't work, I'm going to get a new thing. I watch.
Yeah, that's sad.
Like, I see so many YouTube videos of, here's how you bring life back into this tech. Here's how you repair this thing. Like, there seems to be a lot more, you know, how to, if you will, coming from.
So you're saying Maker Tech comes from Britain?
Just in general, there seems to be more of a how-to mindset within European nations where it's not as disposable.
I wonder, though, if that's just a few big companies that have maybe created that appearance to you. Like, you think about, so of course Apple's going to come to mind. And it's like, well, they're an American company that have designed a business model that specifically is disposable. And it forces people to be locked into a platform that they create that third parties can't create, and that you have to continually purchase the next product.
That brings you into the DOJ in the States just going after Apple last month for, was it antitrust?
Right, but you
For
hear
that
more
purpose.
about those types of lawsuits and those types of government regulations and things. Like, okay, now we've got USB-C in an Apple device. Well, what brought that about? UK regulations.
Yeah. Yep.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So they're, does that mean that they're more technologically advanced or anything
No.
like that? No.
But they're,
we're controlled by our society, our technological end of the society is controlled by a few big companies,
yeah.
and they want to make money.
Oh, absolutely they do. And there's probably, as a ratio, no, I'm not even going to go there. There's a lot of really smart tech people in North America. And that's not to say that, my comment wasn't to say that there wasn't.
Thanks, man.
But I just mean, in general, when it comes to the average user, there seems to be more of a, and I'm not talking just computers, just technical know-how. Because I think it's non-disposable the same way. I don't know. Maybe it's what's the psychological term? Not operant conditioning. I forget what it's called. Where it's like, you buy a Mini Cooper, and suddenly now you see Mini Coopers all over the road. Whatever that effect is.
You name your kid a unique name, and then suddenly everyone in their classroom has the same name.
Right, exactly. So, and it doesn't change the reality that that's not the case, but you're now attuned to it. And so maybe it's one of those things where I'm looking at it just as a general curiosity, like as a people group, who seems to really have a good sense of tech. And so I'm always looking for stuff like that. You see some forums where it says where they're from, and I'm always looking at that stuff because I'm fascinated by it. I like to know what people are into. It's kind of like mall watching. Have you ever done that?
No.
You just go to the mall for an hour while
Just watch people?
while your wife's in, some store. I
Wow,
don't
you
know.
are just full of stereotypes today. While your wife is shopping.
Well, no, there are times where Jen's
Tell
like,
me about the time that she was cleaning the kitchen, Jeff.
no, oh my gosh,
Oh,
come
for goodness
on,
sake, listen to you.
come on.
Listen to you.
No, there's some stores where I'm just like, I have no desire to look at whatever.
Holy crap.
And it's like, I'm going to hang out. Like, she used to love browsing through, was it HomeSense?
Yeah.
And with the
You
kids-
don't go in with her and buy a lamp?
I do now, but when the kids were younger, they're like, I'm so bored. I don't want to browse the shelves.
Oh, God.
And so they're in the Georgia
Show
Mall.
them the electronics and game section.
No, the Georgia Mall, they had that giant replica of the warship.
Yeah.
And so I would sit out there on the bench with the kids.
Like a real man.
And they
Look
would-
at a warship.
They loved,
Gosh.
because it was a model.
Yeah.
They loved looking at the model warship. And so I would sit there on the bench for the half an hour that they're out there, and I would just watch people. Like, I'm fascinated by people and how they act and
Yeah.
what they do. And even with their online, interactions, I love just watching and learning how people do stuff.
This episode of Data Drive Podcast is brought to you by Mansplaining and British
Oh my
Telecom.
gosh. Oh, just delete the whole thing.
Data drive, let's take a leap. Jeff's words cut running deep. Echoes through the circuits, we all weep. Stop, Robbie calls out the creep. Let's take a break, reset the pace. Commercial time, save some face. Let's take a break, reset the pace. Commercial time.
I did a little bit of research.
You did you?
Yeah. On the most tech-savvy countries for IoT.
Okay.
All right? Because I was like, how do you measure something like this? Because, like, I know what I'm seeing.
Right, okay.
But I don't know how to, like...
Well, it's like I say, like Maker Tech coming out of the UK. Well, of course, you know, we've got the... What's it called? The bit? Microbit? The Raspberry Pi?
Yep.
Like,
oh, there's a bunch.
Yeah. So it's like... So it gives the impression that the UK is a real Maker Tech-centric place. Plus, fighting for the right to repair.
Yes. So this is based on an NRI report, which is Network Readiness Index.
All right.
So whether
You
that
could have made up anything. I would have believed you.
So what the metrics are for it, I do not know.
Normal rectal insemination.
But as far as a
Sorry, NRI. Luckily, they don't watch this.
Yeah. But as far as being kind of per capita, if you will, most IoT savvy,
Okay.
Singapore comes in at number 1.
Singapore.
Right? I was like, huh.
All right.
All right. Apparently, part of this is the Singapore government has a digital agenda for the country, and they're really pushing tech advancement.
And what companies come out of Singapore?
I have no clue.
All right.
Number 2 is Finland. Number 3 is Sweden.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Norway.
All these places that I'd love to visit, but that, yeah, beep your horn. That makes it all the better.
Yep.
Go ahead. Yeah, we can be a little more polite than that.
Yeah. You know, it's non-rush hour Russia.
Oh, you.
So. Anyway, number 5 is the United States, the Netherlands, Switzerland, UK, Luxembourg, Japan. Which I'm like, why is China not on there? That seems odd.
Well, yeah. But IoT is a very specific kind of tech.
Right. So then I'm looking at another report on the most technological expertise per capita.
So this is actually based on their capabilities.
Correct. Japan comes in at number 1,
See, that makes sense to me.
then South Korea, then China, then US, Germany, Singapore, UK, Russia,
See, there's Singapore again.
Switzerland, and United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
Then
So-
there's one more,
Yeah.
and it's the most technologically advanced countries.
Okay. So these are not necessarily the countries that have the knowledge nor the capabilities, but are the most advanced. Like America has a lot of technologies that are imports.
Correct.
And so, yes, it's an advanced country, definitely. But, and don't get me wrong, a lot of stuff is made in America,
Yes.
but a lot of stuff is made overseas as well.
Yes. And so, according to this report from somebody, I don't know who. Oh, a joint venture between U.S. News and World Report, a BAV group, and Wharton Business College. South Korea is number 1, then United
Okay.
States,
Yeah?
then Taiwan, Denmark, Switzerland, Israel, Finland, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway.
All right.
That's their ranking in this one, technological expertise. Now, as far as the most advanced countries, their report shows Japan, US, South Korea, Germany, Singapore,
UK, Sweden, Israel, China, Switzerland, Russia, Canada, Finland, Netherlands, Norway, Denmark, India.
Well, I'm glad Canada falls on the list somewhere.
But where is China? Oh, number 9.
China's there.
Yeah, number 9. And we're number 12 in Canada. But I was like, that's interesting.
So Switzerland made all 4 lists.
Yep.
Like, essentially, to summarize, Brainiest, most able to create, and most advanced country, times 2.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, a bunch of geniuses walking around in their lederhosen.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I was like, after our conversation about, my observations of tech-savviness online, and you're like, mansplaining me.
Yeah, well,
I'm like, I need to redeem myself here because I know
just
what
had to
I
know
see.
what I know. Okay, so now I understand what you were trying to say.
Yes. Because, I know what I see.
You can't just up and say, let me stereotype a bunch of countries.
It wasn't.
No, it's got to be actual facts. So thank you for
but it
bringing
wasn't
the
a
facts.
stereotype. It was just, these are my observations. And it's like, it stood out to me that I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, there seems to be a lot of
You started
European.
talking about waiting for your wife to
No,
go shopping
no.
while you looked at a model of a battle thing.
Context, my friend. You take things out of context.
Maybe I just understand things differently.
You just look for sensationalism within a pod.
Do I?
That's what you're looking
Is
for.
that what I look for?
You can just
Gosh.
see
Okay,
the
so
label of this episode now.
next search. I want to know
Yeah.
what are the top 5 tech companies in Switzerland? Because I wonder how many of those are exporters that we're familiar with here.
Top 5.
Considering they made all 4 lists.
Yeah, exactly. Zaludio GmbH.
Not feeling it. GmbH.
It almost looks like a
that.
knockoff of an IBM symbol. ImmuniWeb.
Okay.
It's a application security company. Institut für Stress
This isn't going the way that I was thinking it was going to go.
Gesundheit und persönliche Entfaltung.
On behalf of Data Drive, I would like to apologize to all of our Swiss listeners today.
Yeah, I butchered that
I
one.
don't know what you just said, but it was not the name of the company, and it probably offended a lot of people.
EAP Ingenuum Data GmbH, Match Office CH,
That's the second time GmbH has come up. So what
Yeah.
does that stand for?
Exadel, Boldheart, OQTA Core, Winsaw, Swisssaw,
How
Win-Win
can they-
Media.
How can they be on all 4 lists, and I've never heard of any of these?
Largest Swiss tech companies. TE Connectivity Limited, ST Microelectronics NV, Garmin,
Okay, them
For
we're
Garmin.
familiar with, yeah.
Logitech,
Okay.
Temenos AG.
See, now we're getting into stuff that makes sense.
Yeah. Also Holding, Inficon Holding, Software One Holding, Comet Holding. They like to hold things. Huber and Stoner, Sensirian Holding, Global Blue Group Holding, uBlocks Holding, Meyerberger Technology, Visung, Schaffner Holding, Elma Electronics. I don't recognize any of these.
So basically Logitech
Yeah,
and Garmin.
and Garmin. I didn't know that Garmin was Swiss.
Now you know. I mean, it makes sense that they make watches.
Let's see.
I love me a good analog Swiss watch, though.
Proton Mail.
Proton, yeah.
I've heard of them. Net Guardians. Interesting.
Well, way to redeem yourself, sir.
Well, you know what? I knew that I wasn't blowing smoke. I just couldn't figure out how to verify what I've been observing.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah. See? I can pay attention to things. And sometimes
done.
I sound like a babbling idiot, but I
Well
know what I'm
done.
talking about.
Well, now you've got something useless to share with the family.
Pretty much everything I share is useless.
No, but you know what? You learn something, and it gives you something to talk about around the table, like, or
That's
with
true.
the in-laws. With the in-laws, you'll be talking about something, and Switzerland will come up, and you'll be like, "Do you know that they are one of the leading technology manufacturers and one of the most sophisticated, technologically advanced societies in the world?"
Yep.
And they'll be like, "What?" And then you'd be like, tune into the Data Drive to learn more. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's right.
Because that's how every family dinner goes. Guys, you got to check out my podcast.
It is true. It's true. Actually, the amount of times that Cat 5 has come up as a conversation topic.
Yeah. Oh, let me show you this video that we did.
Well, part of it is we'll do some, we've done something cool on Cat 5 and
Oh, yeah.
my brother-in-law.
That's been known to happen.
Just a few things. But he works in IT at one of the Ontario colleges, and so we'll, we get into geekery conversations, and so he'd be like, "Oh, have you seen this thing?" And we'll be talking about him. "Oh, we covered that on Cat 5." He's like, "Oh, really?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got a demo of it." And so,
My brother bought Edifier speakers.
oh yeah,
1210Ts. And he said he was just like kind of annoyed, but at the same time really impressed that when he was doing his research, it was our review that came up. And it was actually our review that made him want to buy them. And
That's
it's my freaking brother.
that's funny.
Completely fluke. Like, it's just such a popular video.
Yeah. Edifiers, were those the ones that were? It was like the bass was so resonating that like the dummy's hair was moving.
The dummy.
Yeah, thanks.
That was your hair, my friend.
Was it my hair that was moving?
Yeah.
I thought you put a wig on the head.
The dummy.
I thought you put a wig on the
No.
white styrofoam head.
I didn't. It was your head,
Well, then,
dummy.
oh,
Gosh.
we'll just delete that part.
No, we won't. I'm going to play a clip. Dummy. Yeah, and those are actually on your production desk at Studio E now.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hasn't moved my hair in a while though.
Well, you're
There's
kind of
less
sitting
of
back
it.
a few feet
So
with a 55-inch screen in front of you.
yeah.
That's a wrap on this episode of Data Drive. Remember, whether you're a maker, a tech enthusiast, or just curious, there's always something new to learn and discover here on Data Drive. Now, let me know if you agree or disagree with our observations. Are you Team Jeff or Team Robbie this week? Say Team Robbie, say it. Drop us a comment on this episode on our YouTube channel. We'd love it if you do that, and perhaps even subscribe while you're there so you don't miss the next ones. Time to park for now. We'll catch you next time.